Welcome to this Discovery series with SolarWinds. I'm head geek Leon Adato, and with me today is Technical Content Manager of Community, Kevin Sparenberg.
Hello.
Hello. All right, so let's talk about money for just a minute.
Do we have to, man? You know IT people hate talking about money.
Yeah, I know, and that's actually kind of the problem with the state of IT and also with cloud and cost and all of those things.
But there's no money issue with cloud. Everything's free.
Everything is a money
I don't
issue.
pay for it.
Because I don't pay for it.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so, and that is actually the problem, is that we have to sort of shift old mindsets.
Yeah.
One is that IT doesn't have to deal with, but IT practitioners, I know IT managers have to deal with budgets and things,
Yeah.
but IT practitioners generally feel like, I don't have to deal with money, and even when I'm asking, requisitioning or asking for an expense, it happens, it gets signed and it goes away.
Mm-hmm. It's magic.
And I think that hails from the, not so long ago, but old days of on-premises, data centers where you were constrained by, reality.
Yeah.
If I had some CPU, you couldn't have it.
There was only so much compute, and it was cut this way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And even when we were talking virtual, that was still a thing. There was
Yeah.
still limits to what the overlap was. But public cloud is kind of like the proverbial candy store for devs, where there's an open tab and everything seems to be free and everything is so tasty and all of that. And I think that a lot of devs fall into the trap of saying, oh my gosh, I can have this dev system and it's only $7 a month.
Absolutely. Let's have 5 of them.
Right.
Each.
Right.
In perpetuity. That's the problem, though, because if we take the candy store analogy, it's how do you kind of keep that within reason? Do you give them here's a 1-pound bag and you can put jelly beans in until it's full? Or do you basically just open the doors? And I think a lot of companies accidentally just open the doors and be like, here's your dumpster, fill it up with whatever you like. And people buy and buy.
Yeah, and I also think that especially at the beginning of cloud, mid-level managers didn't realize, and so they opened a tab and they said, okay, devs, get what you need. And who among us hasn't paid an accidental $15,000 cloud services charge? And
I haven't.
Okay, but
I know people who have.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things is what do you need? Build it up. Let's look at it. And then the first time you actually look at the dollars associated is when the first bill comes in.
Yeah, but that's a month later.
Yeah.
And sometimes the first month is fine because you're just testing the waters, but there's a deeper issue with it, which is, okay, so put on your sysadmin hat.
Good,
and
I can have that hat.
Right, and you're saying you're building a system, how much CPU and RAM are you going to ask for?
Okay, I've got those numbers. So
Okay,
I need
how
32
much?
cores and I need 128 gigs of RAM.
Oh, see, that wasn't where I was going.
Where were you going?
I want all of it.
Yes.
That's
No. I want that for each one.
Yeah, how much do
But
you
I need
have?
a cluster of them.
Yeah, give me.
And right now I need them to stretch as load goes. So I need 32 and 64 at least 5 times to start. And then when they start getting consumed, give me another one. And when they get consumed, give me another one.
Okay, but you're even further forward in the days when give me another one was even a possibility.
Yeah.
Because, when I was building systems, it was, how much CPU and RAM do you want? All of it.
Yeah.
I want all of them. Why? Because I can't go back to the well, and because I'm going to have to scale, and because, and once I've spec'd out a system, moving to another system is a huge pain.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you spec'd out a machine, you took, here's your app and it needs these things. And you took those, you added at least 50%, if not double it.
Right.
Because you're not going to get a replacement for that in the 3 years you're supposed to. It's going to stretch to 5 or 7.
And Scotty is our hero.
Yes. And you get all those things mixed together and all of a sudden there's a little more power. So, I mean, but if you can get it to stretch, but with cloud, do I need a G5 versus a C2 versus a this versus that? And there's a lot of gray in there for what each one is going to do. And unfortunately, a lot of companies get burned. I got burned in my own personal pay-as-you-go account with a hit for a couple of $100 that I wasn't anticipating.
Right. So, like we said, IT folks are not delighted about the opportunity to, pay attention to money.
No.
Well, I shouldn't say that. We like talking about money when it's our money.
Like when someone says you have this much to spend, love hearing that. Love it.
I was just talking about my salary and bonus and stuff like I'm okay talking about that. But when it's here's your monthly budget or here's whatever, I'm not really thrilled about that.
I mean, do you want to have? Here's the question: is no budget zero or is no budget everything?
No budget is, I need what I want because it's a technical need,
Yes.
and just give it to me.
I will tell you what you need technically. I don't care what it costs to make this thing you
Right.
want happen.
Right.
That's the IT purist.
Right. So I think what we're talking about is that there's an opportunity, it's giving rise to a whole new type of IT person, the cloud economist
Okay.
in the company.
Yeah, for each org.
This is an organizational role, right? Not somebody who goes out, like Corey Quinn, who does this like on Twitter all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about somebody in the organization who pays attention, who has a technical understanding of, again, like you said, the C6 or the G2 or the whatever.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they are. This is what their use cases are. This is how they functionally work. But also, here's the financial impact. And also, this system is built to push data constantly, and we're going to be paying per megabyte because we're in this region, or we're in, and that's not the right way to structure this design because of the money.
Yeah. But the question for that is that a role? Like, is that another hat that you wear and be like, okay, I'm a sysadmin and now I got to be a finance guy? Or is that a new title? Is that a new job somewhere? And how do you get that started? And I think one of the easiest ways to get started is, you talked about the devs have a machine for $7 a month. They get $7 for each instance. Great. Why don't you make the dev lead for that team accountable, maybe not financially, but accountable for reporting what the entire dev team, the costs were associated. And then when it goes over to the staging environment, then the lead there has to do the same thing. And kind of, I'm hesitant to use the word force, but basically make the people face the dollar ramification of these discussions.
Okay, I think that's one step. I think having somebody who is responsible, at least to know the numbers, is one step. I think also you could make that part of your stand-ups and say, here's the environment, the systems that we run, and here's what their run rate is. The tools to get those numbers are fairly available.
Yeah.
So that I think that sometimes just awareness, it helps people to say, oh, I didn't realize it was running hot like that. I'll scale it back before it's the $15,000 extra charge.
So while you have your sprint burn downs, you also have your cloud spend ups.
Okay.
Lack of a better way to put it.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I also think that in certain situations you might want to gate the constraint, meaning don't give out the credit card.
No. Bad things can and will happen. $15,000 bill, notwithstanding.
Right.
But you need to, how do you determine where that goes? And I think it's a discussion you have to have. That's an internal discussion for every organization.
Right. So again, I think that there's an opportunity maybe for organizations now to talk about a whole new kind of role. Again, that internal cloud economist, CFO, cloud finance
officer. Yeah, I like it. We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with CFO.
No one else is using CFO, right?
Right. No.
Perfect.
No, it's the other CFO.
Oh.
Right.
OCFO?
I like that. Okay, OCFO. So there's an opportunity for a role. I think if people find that they actually do like talking about the finances, they actually have a head for numbers, then they might want to look at that and say, this is somewhere I can merge two passions. I understand and I enjoy the technical, but I also understand and enjoy the financial. Maybe it's finally time to use those MBAs that everybody ran out and got, a decade or so ago. Like, now you can really put it together. I think there's some other ways to solve this, though, and that's a challenge that we're going to get to in another video in this series. So until then, thank you for joining us.